Today, I want to speak to relationship. And this might be a part 2 to the intimacy video that I had created recently. Vulnerability creates real intimacy. So this is going to be a follow-up to that video. And if you're new to my work, I don't have any scripts. I'm not reading off a teleprompter. I'm just speaking from what feels alive in my experience. And that is the embodiment work that I offer. I don't prefer to live my life in a way where I have to figure out my future. And part of my process has been surrendering and starting to connect and listen to my somatic intelligence, listen to my body's wisdom. It's a more intuitive way of living. So if that's not where you're at in your journey, it's perfectly fine. So many of us in the West specifically, we need structure. Structure is vitally important. And it's not to make anyone wrong. We live in a society where intelligence has been diluted. We're taught that the accumulation of concepts and ideas, that is where our value lies, in accumulation. And from my experience, the more that we empty out, we start reconnecting to our natural intelligence. And that to me is the foundation for relationship. So we think of relationship as two people connecting. And I want to propose to you something perhaps a little bit subtler. That we have a relationship with every aspect of our experience. In intimacy, into me I see, requires us to know and learn thyself. To study our patterns. Not to become neurotic about it. That's a whole nother topic. As I feel like we've become neurotic in attempting to change patterns. To me, it's coming back to love. It's coming back to presence. Over and over and over and over again. Relationship nowadays has been hijacked by overstimulation, by scrolls on our phone, dopamine hits. We've become hijacked, neurochemically speaking. We have neurochemical cocktails of fear, of anxiety, of misery, and we don't know how to get out of that state. And that's where I have so much compassion for where you are at and where people are at within their own life, within their own experience. And my intention is to offer to you, perhaps, if you're at a specific place in your journey, to start to settle into your body and to start feeling yourself. And part of the process of feeling yourself is meeting your emotions, developing a relationship with your emotions, developing a relationship with honesty. Like if I want to be in integrity in my life as a leader, it requires me to be very aware of what is happening inside of me and how to start orienting myself in the world from what is true and what is authentic and what is honest right now. I feel like largely we have separated our internal world and our external world. We have what's going on in here, and we have what's going on out here, and they don't match. We feel like we have to lie to get our needs met. And what I'm speaking to is the work. Because if I have to lie, if I have to wear a mask to pursue what I experience as my desires, I now have to protect that mask. And I think our greatest desires is to authentically show up as we are. And to be desired by an individual. And now I'm speaking now specifically to romantic relationship. If we feel like we have to prove ourselves, validate ourselves, like we're missing something in the pursuit of connection and intimacy, what are we bringing to the table? I hear all the time from my female friends that they don't feel safe by a lot of the men that they come into contact with, that they meet, that there's this taking energy. And I'm not speaking from anything, that was me. Chasing, trying to take, trying to extract from the feminine, from women. Because I thought they had something that I didn't have access to myself. And I thought I had to be something, a version of myself, that seemed desirable. And the more that I let go of that, I surrendered that idea. And I became aware and present to myself, to my breath, to my thought patterns on a moment-to-moment basis. I started feeling how uncomfortable I was in my own skin, how much shame, how much pain, how uncomfortable I felt just being me. When we get to that place, it's not a mistake. That's grace. That is a doorway. Call it an initiation. I mean, for me, I didn't choose this work. I was initiated into it. I was so uncomfortable in my own skin. And I'm sure I'll share my story for another time. But if we're tired of all of the stories, all of the streamlines of thought patterns, and trying to figure life out and trying to control life, because really that's what it is. When we don't trust life, how could we possibly trust another individual? So know thyself is the precursor to now bringing something of value, something of substance to the table when we're pursuing a romantic relationship. Because I feel like relationship it's the greatest opportunity to meet ourselves. And I know we use relationship as a mirror. But it's so much more than a fucking mirror. Relationship is the greatest opportunity for love. And there's certain dynamics, certain components in a relationship, like containment, safety, communication, that is primary to anything sexual. However, we live in a society where so many people have dishonored their sexuality. And I see why. And as we go deeper into our body, and as men, we develop relationships with our root, our genitals, in a beautiful, loving way. Sex now takes on a whole different shape. We're removed from the performance paradigm, which is built on separation and inadequacy. That if I please my woman, I will be more of a man. Presence doesn't give a shit about performance. Presence only cares about showing us where we're vibrating out of love so we can experience more love. So if you're on an embodiment journey, if you have cultivated a meditative practice, a breathwork practice, somatic practices like Qigong, Kundalini Yoga, or energetics-based practices, it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful thing. And the playing field is always now, meaning that slowly meeting our edges, our fears, even our desires, our suppressed desires, going into those areas mindfully will be the greatest value to your life. Because you'll have your own back. It's so easy to think, go with the flow, go with society and surrender to society and how it's moving. But so much of society is suffering in silence because we're out of alignment with who we are on a soul level. And I feel like our journey here is to bring our soul, our essence, into the flesh and to start to shine and radiate our essence as the one-of-a-kind human being that we are. Yes, oneness is this beautiful concept that we can experience on our journey. And through oneness, we come back to relating to ourselves as, holy shit, I'm still human. What do I do with my human stuff? Do I try to transcend it with meditation? Or do I bring my cultivation practice into my body, into my physicality, and start meeting life in a slower rhythm, in a rhythm that's more natural, in a rhythm that is more connected to the seasons of nature, and then slowly we can let go of these patterns by choosing to meet our edges, by choosing to remain in presence and in love. Love doesn't have a story. It doesn't have a script. It doesn't have a narrative. It simply is. And to the degree that we're willing to meet what is, with honesty, with curiosity, with openness, slowly we get to start to experience how intelligent life really is. And we can tune into the signal of life. I'm not here to make social media or AI bad. It's not bad. And when we're overstimulated and our bodies are stressed and anxious, that is an opportunity to feel. It's like, there's so much fear here. There's so much anxiety here. And just saying that starts to open you, because the truth shall set you free. And the truth is that you are boundless. And to relate to life through that lens of awareness, that we can meet our boundless nature and we can bring that intelligence into our interactions and live far more intuitively, connected, at home, and we can invite people to meet us there. So to me, the journey of life, the soul, the evolutionary path, is to merge the internal and external, is to feel at home within ourselves everywhere we go. It's not to say we're not going to get triggered, we're not going to get angry, people aren't going to piss us off. All that happens. We don't find a place of enlightenment, and all of a sudden we're not human anymore. So the spiritual charades that guarantees the end of suffering, what does that even mean? Yes, if our idea of suffering is the concepts, the stories, the narratives, the identities, the projections in our mind, we can learn to let go of that. We can learn to empty that out. We can learn to live more self-expressed, more embodied, more intuitive, more free, more loving, more joy, more bliss. But all of that is only available to the degree that we're willing to meet and love the aspects of ourselves that we're judging, the parts of ourselves we don't like, that we wish were different. You see, when we're trying to fix or improve ourselves, we're telling ourselves that who we are in this moment is not enough. When we live as though we connect deeper into the present moment, we experience ourselves and feel ourselves as whole and complete in this moment. And yes, there is a refinement process. There is a releasing of the conditioning that is distorting who we really are. And the journey that I like to invite people into is like, yeah, you're whole and complete just as you are. And you get to experience yourself in new ways all the time. But you can never not be who you are. The mind can only distort and veil the mystery of life. point to where life begins and where it ends. And that's the invitation I feel like life is really presenting us. It's like the more we let go, the more we realize, fuck, I don't know a damn thing. And when you start touching and tasting and experiencing that space, you can start feeling the bliss, the orgasmic bliss that is bubbling up inside of you. As the tissue layers of the body starts to soften, starts to relax, you have access to more energy, more life force. When you're constantly gripping, that takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to be stressed out. It takes a lot of energy to just ruminate in the mind all day long. So cultivated practice helps bring us into the body. And now we gather our life force back. And we're reoriented in our experience from the inside out, not the outside in. When we live as though the things that we desire primarily are out here, we're living from a place of lack. But when we feel connected to life, intimate with life, in a co-creation process, in presence and in love, we can meet life moment to moment. And we don't have to have all the answers. Because as humans, we don't have the answer. As I like to say, love is the answer. But a supreme, intelligent love that's always available to us. And that to me is sadhana, or spiritual practice. Cultivating a relationship with ourselves. Cultivating more compassion, more love, more respect. And when you start having those profound internal experiences, you'll start shining very naturally. And now you can meet life more and more in a place of wholeness. You can meet other people in that place. And now the relationships that you start to develop from there, life-affirming, soul-fulfilling. And you'll start asking different questions. Instead of, as a man, instead of, oh, how do I get the girl? It's like, how do I discover a woman who wants to be worshipped by me, by my presence? Simultaneously, where do I meet a woman that wants to worship me? That becomes a way different paradigm. And you can use that model in your work relationships. You can use that model in all aspects, all domains of your life. So, if you're still here, thank you for tuning in. As you can see, my work is very energetic based. So I'm in the process of recreating my offerings, my mentorship offerings, as a guide, as an embodiment intimacy guide. I came from the human performance world, working for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I was into human optimization, strength and conditioning. I still love that. I still very much take care of my body, very much take care of my nutrition and those sides of things. Those are imperative. And there's a different arc of a journey from moving from performance to presence, which I feel like humans are tired of trying to perform their way to some like arbitrary top or arbitrary model of success that we've been given. And we can start coming into right relationship with what it is we actually desire. Yeah, we might desire material things, and that's perfectly okay. And material things are not going to be the source of our happiness. They're not going to be the source of our joy. They're going to be a reflection of that and where we're standing within ourselves, and to the degree that we're of service to other people. Because I feel like that's what we truly desire. To be in the world and to show up in a way that is giving. Simultaneously, we're receiving. And that's a big lesson for us, is to learn to receive ourselves, to learn to receive life, and to be more receptive, and to understand that our intelligence is available as we learn to relax into our bodies. And that thematic thread of receptivity will connect us in a way that is far more beautiful. Beauty is not here to perform. Beauty is just beautiful by nature. It just radiates. A flower just blooms. So we can't force ourselves to bloom, and love requires all of us. It requires us to meet all aspects of ourselves. And that is the foundation for relationship. And the paradigm that I want to offer as a new way of relating. And it starts with yourself. And as you go on your journey, you'll meet more and more people aligned to you. And you'll see how life is orchestrating the idea of oneness to seek higher and higher levels of integration, of wholeness, of connection, of intuition, of intelligence. And you become inspired by the spirit that is moving through you, by the love, by the presence that is moving through you. So that's what I have to share today.